get our shit together. You been outside lately? They did it to the weather. I'm tapping in, I'm Captain Twin. No reruns, but I'm what's happening. If you looking like you Ashton, don't be asking me for Buddha. If you try to punk me, then I'm blasting the bazookas. Bitch, I'm putting hash up in the hookah. My Dallas shooter shooting faster than the Lucas. Yeah, that mass up on the shooters. Snuck past security, crash your computers. We catch you in this curtain, slacking and we lurking, attacking and we swerving, clapping in Suburbans. They cannon her, nickel and they wrapped up in a turban. No virus in my Rona, bitch, I'm a loner. My bathroom sink looking like the cover of Daytona. Slope of Rocha Buddha. My boss of pods, hot and power, eat approach computers. Bother killer, yeah, I coach the shooters. The fiend said your copa suda. Rob the ops, then I post computers. Banging pigs on the coast of Cuba. Bacon's rebellion, lace up the mace and Margellian. Chasing the belly and pumping weight. And this horseman pumping face. Yeah, the Ichabod, sick of God. And Knickerbockers come and stick a guard. Tell him sit the season out like he's sick with SARS. KD on the next bitch. I'm AB on the meds. 5 stars, I'm AB on the head. I'm the baby bitch. I'm crazy in the head. Dr. Sadie always say, get your bread, red. Get your bread, get your bread, get your bread, red. Get your bread, get your bread, get your bread, red. Get your bread, get your bread.
It's the prophet and the priestess. Quay already lead this. A verbal thesis, plant-based feast with godlike creatures, 10K features. Let's get our shit together. We ain't even really in this bitch forever. Sharing prophecies from nations of ancients. Feeling dangerous, I know that I came in this planet with the angel dust. Some won't understand it, can't explain it. If you ain't about ascension, you can't hang with us. I'm surrounded by elite of extraordinary gentlemen. Thickly divination from the godliest affiliates. Dr. Save me. Do my affirmations daily. CBD with the reishi. Pussy steaming with the Reiki. What else? If you find yourself aligned in a moment of chaos, just breathe.
Cut ties like umbilical. Corporate slave no more. I started at 0. Now I'm living my ritual. Imperial, serial entrepreneur. Invested in herbs, give COVID a cure. Flip the equity, arsenal of artillery. Bitch, I'm ready for war. Big God energy, planetary shift off. Every day more plays. Reactionary niggas is on delay. Still waiting, acting so scary. While we skating like the parking lot vacant. Bury artifacts, almanacs is ancient. Taking land back and we ain't waiting patient. Harvesting power pieces. Ruins rebuilt with telekinesis. Tesla black out, same color as Jesus. Doors lift like Pegasus. As we raise the consciousness. Save me, what's the genesis?
All right. Yes, indeed. Peace, love, and light to everybody in the building. Welcome to another episode of Third Eye Thursdays. This is episode 167. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, indeed. That song that you just heard right there, that is Herbal Prophecies. So, today is 420. So you already know what it is. It's only right that we give you some herbal prophecies on today, the day that you're supposed to be putting it in the air. All right. Shout out to all of my THC, CBD, and other forms of maybe even the dab oils or whatever. Shout out to all of my smokers out there. Shout out to all of my stoners. Salute. Peace to the family in the building. Um, let's go ahead and get into this roll call and get this thing going. All right. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Make sure that y'all hit that like button. Today is Luther's birthday. Shout out to Luther Vandross. You dig? One of the top crooners of our time. You feel me? One of the top crooners, Luther Vandross. People can say what they want to say about him, but that song, "A House Is Not a Home," classic. You feel me? Classic. Chino Hills in the building. Salute to Chino Hills. All right. Salute to Chino Hills. We got Fort Greene in the building. I gave Fort Greene a shout out on this new song that I did, Corinne. I'm going to play it. It's called Red Opal. Shout out to all of the Fort Greene Massive. You dig? Portland in the building. Shout out to Portland. Virgin Islands. Salute to the Virgin Islands. Virgin Islands, is there still heavy inflation over there? Or are y'all basically caught up to, is the rest of the world basically caught up to where y'all at? Because I remember y'all had inflation in 2018. BX in the building. Shout out to BX in the building. Yeah. All right. Tremont section of the Bronx. Yeah. Bronx stay in the news, boy. I tell you that. The Bronx stay in the news. You know the Bronx is lit when the Bronx be hitting the news, and I'm all the way in Atlanta. And all right, the BX Webster, yeah. Shout out to the BX. Shout out to Webster. Shout out to the whole borough, my geniuses. Shout out to Pelon. You dig? So yes, indeed, the family is here in the building. I want to say greetings. I don't know if y'all were aware of it, but today is also a solar eclipse day. All right, and I believe it's a new moon. So today's a very powerful day. I hope everybody had a very eventful day, and definitely took advantage of this portal. You dig? Brick City in the building. Shout out to Brick City. All right. Salute to the bricks. A lot going on in the stars. Yeah, you could say that again. You know, very busy in the upper rooms and whatnot. Very busy upstairs. All right. Shout out to Los Angeles. Salute to Los Angeles. All right. The West Side, West Coast. Uh, I believe I'm not following the playoffs, but I did hear that the LA teams were running. They were running the ball, right? Am I correct? The Well, today we have today's going to be a very good episode. We're going to chop it up about some things, things that are going on in the culture. And today is also going to be the day that I will be dropping and debuting a new song, just because it's 420 and whatnot. We have to consecrate this day. So we're going to premiere Red Opal tonight I got a little video that's going along with it, a little AI generated video that I put together with some software that I'm, some tools for that matter that I'm out here using. So yeah, that'll be a little bit later. Um, Damn, the BX, y'all deep. Y'all in the building tonight, man. Shout out to Pelon, man. Y'all outside, I see. What's going on in the Bronx uh these days? Like what's the temperature? What's happening in the Bronx? I'm not in the BX, but I was in the BX a few, about a week ago this time. And based off of what I saw, where I was staying at, it was pretty, it was pretty quiet, but then somebody got killed in a train station a few stops away from where I live. So then, that was all over the news. But for the most part, the energy that I felt, particularly in the Bronx when I was visiting, you know, it was pretty much the same Bronx that I remember, you know. But shout out to the BX, y'all. Shout out to the BX. I'm working on a date, well, a venue for that matter, to do something in May in New York. So for all of my NYC family, please, continue tapping in and just check me out on the socials in case I put the flyer up. But I will be doing something in New York very, very soon. I know we'll be out there for the Brother 19 Keys with the higher level tour, Blue Pill, myself, and a few others. So, stay tuned for that as well. You dig? So I guess we finished with the roll call. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in. Salute to all of y'all from everywhere we y'all are tapping in from and whatnot. Um, so yeah, today was a great day. It was an eventful day. I started it out early, and I started it out on business. I made sure that on 420 I did something business related. So I went all across town, about an hour away from where I live, and locked in with my good brother H Factor, and we began working on some LLCs for these businesses that we've been creating with our Hustle GPT challenge, you know. And then at the same time, we went ahead and we caught content, because content is king. So, it's always good to record and document things that you're doing. And yeah, on top of that, I also was able to debut, right, a new product, which I'm very proud of. You know what I'm saying? I've been talking about this. I've been teasing the people with this product for a very long time. But today I was able to successfully launch this and whatnot and get this out there. So yeah, we got the Delta 44 on deck. This is not THC. This is CBD, right? This is not THC. This is CBD. FYI for anybody that is, that's not what the CBD right here. But this is Delta 44, the red and the blue pack. Okay, so this is our personal brand. Get used to seeing it because we will definitely, you know, you'll see more of it in the future. Okay, so yeah, that was basically, there was some other things in the day, but how did y'all spend your day? How did you spend your 420? I would love to know what some of y'all did with your time and whatnot. What kind of experiences, what kind of ceremonies you may have had, uh, what kind of events. Will I be doing THC in the future? Yes, yes, definitely, most definitely, right? The approach, right? Here goes the hoodie right there, the Delta 88. The approach at this point is to come in with the CBD just based off of, the fact that it has healing modalities to it, It's more healthier. Right now, the whole THC thing is kind of crazy, just in terms of you making sure that you get the most non-tampered with bud, you know. So that is definitely coming. I'm in contact with some fire growers who are very trusted and whatnot. They got some great product. And I definitely want to smoke on my own strain. So yeah, the red and that strain is on its way. But for right now, we got this. Okay. So yeah, you know, just doing what I'm doing. Have you done shrooms recently? Recently would be what was that? It was an actual something was going on. It was a moon or something. Yeah, I would say recently and probably about a month ago and whatnot. Heroic dose, you know, heroic dose. Walk through the portals. But it was definitely it was a good experience, you know. What I'm beginning to hear a lot is people in hip hop. They're beginning to talk about shrooms a lot. It's beginning to really carry on into the culture and whatnot. From what I'm seeing, and it's become more like a party thing, versus a ceremonial thing. At the end of the day, people may say what they want to say, but I would say, you know what? That's a good thing. You know, what I mean by that is that it may help some people who are really doped up, right? There's some people hooked on drugs in hip hop. There's some people really addicted to some shit in that industry. So and there's some people that's dealing with some trauma all up and down the industry and whatnot. And and it's people dealing with all kind of shit, in all kind of places. So what I know, the healing properties that these shrooms have is they help put people, back into a place where, they're in a better place. They put you back into a place where you could basically heal and do, and get better and get stronger versus fucking with some opioids or rocking with some other kind of chemicals that are going to take you further and further away from that point of homeostasis and whatnot. So it's to me it's like it's a good, who knows. But what I do know is that they picking up on that, and in the sense that shit is replacing weed for a lot of people. You heard that shrooms helps with autism. Heard that too. And I heard it helps with addictions, different types of addictions, right? Because a lot of addictions have they're planted in our subconscious and whatnot. It has a lot to do with our neurological state. So the fact that the shrooms are helping to repair and build back synapses and whatnot, that's a miraculous thing. Um, Other things that we partake in are actually doing the opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's actually doing the opposite. When your brain is swimming in alcohol, it's not really a good thing. So once again, I'm not giving y'all no prescriptions. I'm not trying to sell you any forms of psilocybin on this show. I'm just having a conversation about the pros and the cons of it. I will speak favorably to it versus speaking negatively about it. I wouldn't even want to tippy toe around it. However, what I would recommend moderation. I would recommend to, have somebody who is experienced in your, during your first two trips, you know, definitely. But it's not some shit that you have to get super prepared for. Like, don't get tripped out about it because it's not that serious, you know. The mind, the human mind, and the brain, you know, and shit, the imagination for that matter, it is so vast. It's so unexplored. It's like standing at the feet of an ocean, right? And looking into the vastness of the ocean, right? And knowing that there's different ways that you can explore that ocean. You have different options. You could get into a submarine and go to the deepest depths of the ocean, right? Where you can actually experience what's inside of that ocean. You feel me? At the risk of losing it all. You could ride on a you could ride on a cruise ship on a goddamn Navy aircraft carrier around the whole planet. It's the same thing with exploring the vastness of the mind. It's the same thing with having, you know, uh, interstellar travel, right? Traveling within, you know what I'm saying? And these are the vehicles to which you would be able to travel with, right? People are actually traveling through, their mind. They're traveling through their quote unquote, they're traveling through dimensions, to be honest with you, right? If you've really ever been on a trip for real, you're jumping through different dimensions at some points. And especially if you tapped into something like Bufu or DMT or whatever, you know what that's about. So imagine being on the planet. The planet is about experience, right? And once you figure out that you're here for an experience, this is all about an experience, you become more experienced with every experience, right? So you be like, fuck it, I'm experimenting on in this life that I'm living and whatnot. I'm gonna be an expert. Hey, what's up, Freda? I'm gonna be an experimenter, right? I'm going to be able to explore, right? Some people are on a Dora Explorer shit, you know what I mean? They'll go travel around, go in caves and whatnot, go swimming in oceans and things of that nature. They'll go and explore things. Then you have some people who, they just keep it local and whatnot. Then you have people who, they just like the passport bros and whatnot, right? So people are moving around, they're exploring, and they have their own reasons and whatnot. You say you've been doing the chocolates recently. Oh man, chocolates is hitting. Me personally, I'm kind of, I don't know. It's just the way that my body is built. But the greatest effect is chewing them raw dog. You know what I mean? Uh, Maybe with some honey on it and whatnot. But the experience of just smashing them and whatnot versus the chocolate or the tea and things of that nature, that to me is the most effective. You know, because shrooms be ordered. Um, I believe so. I believe it's being that, don't get me wrong, it is considered to be what they call illegal. So I have to be very, I have to remind anybody who's inquiring about the legalities, versus just, you know. However, when I went to Oregon and when I went to Maryland, where it's legal, and I tried it out, right? This is when I had these experiences. So I'm always in a state of Oregon and I'm always in a state of Maryland, where it's legal. So, that's how things happen. But these are, the vehicles that man uses to travel inside. And when you are able to go within, right? Versus somebody who always goes without and they never go within, right? And then they'll be laying there one day on their bed, kind of empty, passport is bleeding and whatnot. They got all of the, they've been to all of the luxury spots in the world. They've been to all of the spas in the world. They've been to every single corner of the planet. Yet and still, they'll be laying somewhere in a luxurious bed, feeling empty, right? Saying, I've been searching all around the planet for something that, I still can't find. When one day they have the opportunity to take a trip within, right? Until one day they have the opportunity to become travel, passport bros, and they take an intercellular or interstellar trip within, and then that yearning that they have will, that will begin to cease. You know what I mean? Because they'll begin to find what they may have been looking for the whole time. And some people say that, you'll find what you're looking for when you look within. So this is something that what they call shrooms are affording the the average partaker and whatnot in the psilocybins. Moderation is always key. Intention always key, right? You don't ever want to approach anything that can alter your mind in a state of distress, in a state of anger, in a state of filth, right? You should be washed up and whatnot. You would want to abstain from certain activities at least 24 hours before you put your body through any type of changes and whatnot through your chemical structure, especially when you have to factor in that the shrooms are going to break down in your stomach and whatnot. That's when they're going to begin to absorb into your bloodstream and things of that nature. So you don't want to pile up dead eyes and carcasses and meat and starch and all of these other things and then ingest the shroomingtons, because it's not gonna work out for you. Okay, it's not gonna work out. That's when you may have a reaction to where people talk about bad trips and whatnot. It's not necessarily you that are going, you're it's the fungus interacting with what you have in your quote unquote stomach. You know what I mean? And you'll be on that interstellar inner trip and whatnot. You're gonna experience that. So you're gonna be disturbed. My main suggestion to anybody is to fast for at least a day or two and then go in with the good structured water, um, the nootropics if you have them on deck, the gold water. You know what I mean? Now, how the sun is beaming today outside, it was like 80. You know what I'm talking about? The sun was eating, you know. So you getting charged up and whatnot. Yeah, you'll take off. You'll definitely tap in to some shit that you need to tap into. And if somebody were to ask me, should everybody on the planet take some shrooms once in their life? I would say yes. On this motherfucking planet that we're living on, and shit that you have to endure with a sober mind and try to make sense of it, and then try to reason through it, and then absorb all of the shit that comes with it, I would say why not? You know, we're such, our people are so considered to be programmed, and we're so you know, religious, and we're so one way with shit. My parents did this, and somebody would be like, red pill is encouraging us to take drugs. When I would say to them, nah, not at all. That's not a drug. The definition for a drug doesn't match a shroom. What a shroom is something that grows from the earth naturally. Psilocybin, baby. You know what I'm talking about? You never ate shrooms on your mushrooms? I mean, you never ate shrooms on your pizza or in your salad, right? This is a different kind. Because I didn't see the difference when I was eating the dry one or the big fluffy shit from the portobellas and other shrooms that I might chop up, you know. But the reason why I would say, everyone should at least have some type of quote unquote connection, right? The key word is connection. Everybody should feel that connection at least once in their life. What connection am I speaking of? I'm speaking about the connection that's established on shrooms. I'm talking about the connection that you feel to the quote unquote to the just the world, right? But really to nature, right? On what is known as shrooms. It's the connection that I'm really for. So that connection that I'm speaking of is a subtle connection that we read about and we hear about, but when you feel it, it's a whole different thing. When they say that everything is connected, we hear that, we could read that, and somebody could try to articulate as best as they can. But until you really feel that shit, you don't know what it really is that they're saying. So there's a connection. I tell people all the time, when you go into something like the forest, or you go into the jungle, or you even go into the park, right? Or you're on the beach and whatnot, and you have defocalized, and you're under this, you're underneath the quote unquote shroom, man. It's like you'll connect to that environment the same way your phone will connect to Wi-Fi. And when you connect to that environment, you begin to get downloads from the cloud the same way that if you were to connect a phone that you just bought from the T-Mobile store or a phone that you just turned on and whatnot, the minute you put Wi-Fi onto that phone, you begin to receive downloads from the cloud and whatnot. So there's a connection, right? You might not feel it if you're doing it in the crib and whatnot. You might not feel it if you're doing it on some party shit. You might not feel it if you're just doing it to goof around on the weekend and whatnot. I'm talking about going into nature. I'm talking about doing it on a mountain and whatnot, in a cabin type shit, in the rainforest, in Tulum, in Peru, in Costa Rica, in places where it's ceremoniously being taken. It's a difference between popping that shit in your kitchen and doing it in ceremony and whatnot, with the drums, with the whole settings and everything. Your whole surrounding is going to prepare you for an experience. And to be honest with you, it's about the experience before anything. It's everything is out there. What experience can you marry to whatever that thing is that you want to experience? What environment do you want to, you want to be able to create a whole experience around that, you know you feel me? What about the DMTZ? Yeah, that shit is lit. I just said the bufu, right? You have the spirit molecule and you have the God molecule. The God molecule is the bufu, is the toad. It's what Mike Tyson talks about, right? It's what Mike Tyson talks about. It's almost what he swears by. They got him back on track because he was off his kilter and whatnot. He was off code. He was spiraling. because of a cocaine addiction on top of some other things. And he said Bufu saved his life. I remember sitting there watching him on YouTube, and I was like, really? And he was like, yo, and he said it continuously on different episodes and whatnot. He became like an advocate for the Bufu experience, or what they call the toad, right? Bufu avalaris. Okay. It's the scrapings off of a toad. It turns into a powder, and then you smoke the powder and whatnot. And that shit out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Out of here. They call it the God molecule, because you will have a conversation with God. And they also have what is known as the ego death, right? So the scientific term for this is 5-MeO-DMT, 5-MeO-DMT. Okay, that's what you could look it up and research the number 5-MeO-DMT and go and get the papers on this and whatnot and do your research, because you want to get into the research. You know, if AI has taught me anything, and if it has helped to discipline me in any way, it got me really into the research. I'm reading more research papers now than I've ever read in my life, and I'm having more respect for the research. Yeah, he said I'm not smoking no powder, bro. Yeah, well, it ain't for everybody. You feel me? It ain't for everybody. For some people, if they want to talk to God and whatnot, or if they want to have that experience, that's called the quote unquote God molecule, because regular DMT is called a spirit molecule, and that experience is more of a hallucination, right? That experience is more of a hallucination. So people do hallucinate, and they're incoherent. you know to some people who are listening to them, they make no sense, right? They're aloof. It's like, what are they talking about? They're cuckoo for cocoa puffs, right? But fast forward, the AI computers also hallucinate, right? Chat GPT hallucinates, right? Bard hallucinates. All of the new models and whatnot, they haven't found one that doesn't hallucinate, you know. So these AI systems, they're hallucinating in the same way that human beings are hallucinating, and human beings are hallucinating under under these quote unquote mind altering substances and whatnot. So the bufu doesn't necessarily cause a hallucination, right? The bufu is not necessarily attributed with seeing things, right? Now, keep in mind this conversation that we're having about this inner trip and whatnot, which is considered a spiritual experience. I know people are saying spirit is breath and shit like that. You know what I mean? I know people are saying that, spirit is breath, and that's cool. I understand what you mean. However, what I'm talking about is a spiritual experience, an experience that it will alter, or it will touch your spirit. Okay? It will touch your spirit. You're not walking away from that experience without something. There's going to be a shift, you know. There's going to be a shift, because you're going to have, there's an ego death that takes place. Like, you leave the quote unquote vessel, or what they call the ego is the body. The ego, I discovered, is red pill, right? When I put a name to this shit, when I identified as a nationality, and when I gave myself a name and I became a persona and everything, that's my ego. That's me, right? Identifying and making me an individual when I'm part of a whole. You feel me? It's the same comparison that if a bottle of water, right, came out of the ocean, put a wrapper around it, called it Deer Park, and then walked off like it wasn't part of the ocean, right? That's the same thing with human beings, right? Who all have the same, we all have the same light or whatever the divine spark is and whatnot. It's all belongs to one ocean. It's all a part of one source. It's all part of one thing. But we name ourselves, I'm from this country, I'm from that country, I'm this complexion, I'm from that nationality. This is my favorite football team. This is my this, and then it got it broken down. I'm in this gang. You know what I mean? I'm from this block. I'm from 63rd. You from 64th. You know what I mean? I'm from this building. And then it's like, nigga, I'm from this side of the hallway. Do you see the box that I put that people put themselves in just for ego? Ego is a box. Ego is a box that is containing something that can't be contained. You know what I'm talking about? All of this about who you are, nigga, that's not the fuck who you are. You're none of that. You know what I'm saying? You're nigga in the multiverse, you don't have the same name, you just have the same spirit, the same light. And it don't look like this. You know what I mean? You don't have to look like this in every single life and whatnot. So this really is really just an avatar. This is really just, a vehicle. This is really just a spacesuit. You know what I mean? Because, like I'm telling, the spirit that houses, right? The spirit that's inside of the temple, it is greater than the temple, right? And it is connected to other greater lights that are in temples and whatnot. So people can't even talk about, oh, I don't rock with this person. I don't get along with that. No, the water in the ocean is not saying I don't get along with that current. They all in the ocean working together. It's just an ocean. So you belong to an ocean of light. You're a sentient light being. When this light leaves this husk will decompose. It will be no, it would become stiff. It would be it's a fucking it's a dundada. You dig? The driver has left the Uber. You know what I'm talking about? A king outside of a castle, right? What suffers? The king of the castle. If a king leaves his castle and the castle is barren, but the king is still stepping, right? The king could build a castle somewhere else. It's the castle that will fall, you know, and the body is the castle. And we give this castle and this vessel and this body a lot of motherfucking we give it we supposed to give it a lot of consideration because it houses a great experience, a great spirit, a great ego and whatnot. And his ego has carved itself to like, I'm a scorpion, you know what I mean? I'm left-handed, you know what I'm saying? I'm this, you know what I mean? I'm that, you know what I mean? That's all layers of it. So in the ego death, all of those layers get peeled away quick like this. You know what I'm saying? You literally get up out this bitch for a minute and you become part of the whole. I'm trying to explain it in terms that y'all clicks could understand and whatnot. This is the bufu that I'm talking about. Once again, disclaimers. I'm not telling nobody to try out anything, and I'm not licensed to administer any type of diagnosis either. However, I do have the right to talk about my experience. And I had those experiences so I could talk about them, you know? So here I am talking about it. And the Bufu experience, the ego death, and being and feeling, right? Keep remember, God molecule, spirit molecule. The God molecule, it was a feeling. The spirit molecule, it was more of what I was seeing, right? But this shit, the bufu is what you feel. I'm feeling it in my whole. It's hard to explain, but I'm experiencing it, but I'm feeling it too. you know, straight out of body. Yeah, it was kind of out of body-ish. And oh, heroic dose was life-changing. Right. Man, that heroic dose is something else. You know, it's something else. But to know that you are part of something way bigger than you will humble you, right? And to know that once you leave this vessel, that you're returning to a sea. It's like a light that I can't explain. It's brighter than the brightest light that I've ever seen. It's the light is like an energy. It's not a color. It's an energy. You're going to return back to this blinding light, this energy, and you yourself are a blinding light. You know what I mean? Like you're literally not going anywhere. And to know that, that was a relief. You know, they say you get over the fear of death if you do bufu and whatnot. And I understand what they mean by that. But this is the shit to put Mike Tyson back together. So it's not that, it should be researched. I gave you all of the clinical terms. You do your research and your homework and come back and let's build more about it. Um, I'm an advocate for any type of healing for the mental health of melanated people who have been traumatized and who have been quote unquote put through all types of psychological operations through mainstream media and through a multi-trillion dollar corporations on all angles, because I do identify that we are at war and my people got PTSD. So my conversation is in the realms of health and wellness, right? And I'm qualified to speak on it and stand on it because of my experience and because of the people that I'm surrounded with and my network. So that is my disclaimer in that situation, in that category. But it needs to be spoken of because a lot of people are really falling victim to mental health these days. And is of the highest importance that you always have your faculties in order, right? There are teachers in our community, right, who, if I were a part of their team or whatever, or family members, you feel me? Or if I was close to them like that, I would tell them to get help. You dig? I would tell them to seek a little bit of, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. But shit is real out here, bro. You know what I'm talking about? It's real in the field. All you got is your mind. All you got is your mind. You get a Mack truck or a Lambo as a body. Mm-mm. Some people got Lambos. Some people got Bugattis. Some people got what you call it, Mack trucks. Everybody, people got different builds. You went in on 15 grizzles of golden. Ooh, God damn, you're a legend. Are you gonna write the book about your experience, Jim? 15, my brother. God damn, y'all not playing with. But that's what I'm talking about. Like at this point in the game, you know, intelligence is being augmented. You know, the people who are going for the 15 grizzles and going all the way in, you know, man, that's interesting. You know, that's interesting. Think about the books that y'all could write. You know what I'm saying? Or the just on some of the. Imagine if everything that you experience could be like written out, and then whatever's being written out could be shown in images and things, text to image. Yeah. He said there's little words to describe. Ah, man. I know that's crazy. I can imagine. I can imagine. I could definitely imagine. You know, and that's the interesting thing too. Just knowing what the future holds. These are these conversations that we're having right now. We might not have these conversations in the future because we'll be like, you know what? We could describe them now. We have the technology to, where if you go on a trip, a shroom trip, 15 grams, it'll be a whole printout visually of everything that you probably experienced. That day is coming very soon, you know. Play some Ethereal and some Steve Roach. Where you grow your own as you should. As you should. Neil, yeah, that comes with the yes, Neil. That comes with the class. Everything 44 and up. Get access to the class. So you good. Your stomach is your second mind. Definitely. That's very important. That's very important, right? Your stomach is your second mind. Okay? It's been proven scientifically that your abdominal brain is running things. So you gotta keep that in the front in your frontal lobe. The government is already talking about regulating AI. Well, when they start when you niggas get your hands start getting your hands on AI, that's when the regulations are gonna come. If you ever want the regulations to come, just say put just make it appear that black people are getting their hands on GPT. That's when the government is gonna step in and put a cap to that shit, and then make it private and whatnot. The access that we have now is not the access that we're gonna have in the future. I don't know if people are taking advantage of the now. I don't know if there are, groups of 10 and 20 coming together either daily or on the weekends, shit, or bi-weekly or monthly for that matter, or quarterly, hopefully, and discussing all of the possibilities, you know what I mean? All of the opportunities and all of the breakthroughs that are happening all around them. Because that's important. You don't want to miss the opportunity, you know, to be able to do some things that haven't been done on the scale that you can do them now. So before the regulation happens, before all of that, you know, before they take your toys away, make sure you play with them shits, you know? Make sure you play with them. The Patreon is going crazy. The Patreon is lit. The Notion, the workspace is lit. A lot of things is popping right now in that world. People are definitely interested in learning. My good brother Human, he just started school today. Um, On Saturday, I'm going to be with the good brother Source God, right? We're going to be doing the Cosmic A, all right? We'll be at the Source Spot. That's in Atlanta. That is on the 22nd. And that'll also be on Patreon. That will be on Patreon. Tomorrow, we got brother in Cairo. He'll be on Patreon and whatnot. Shout out to that brother. His class will be tomorrow on Patreon. This is brother in Cairo with the Precious Metal Workshop. Okay. Vector databases. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you mean by the vector databases, but if you want to elaborate, be my guest. Whoever smoked these right here, goji berries. Whoever hit the goji berries. I've been putting people on to these for a few years now. Goji berries. Yo, when I tell you this thing is mad sweet, yo. Like real goji berries, bro. And it tastes like it's sweet, sweet. Happy 420, guys. You know, today was also a solar eclipse. Today was a solar eclipse, and it was a hybrid solar eclipse. So it was a very rare solar eclipse. So I just hope whatever work you put in from the hours of 4 a.m. up until now yield some type of reward in the future. People don't want to group for positivity right now. Look, it don't matter about where you live. Fuck Houston if the shit is going down like that. You live in a cloud right now. You know what I'm talking about? You live in a cloud. You exist in cyberspace in the community or a network along with the real world where you live at. You know, I don't let what's going on in my community affect everything that's going on in the different worlds that I'm in. You know what I mean? My thing is, if you on the internet, how you stuck, you can't be stuck with where you live at. If you tapped into a network that's global, it's almost impossible, you know. So if people ain't getting with it where you live at and you just can't bear with that, then you need to change where you live at. But if you could deal with that, if you could be like, fuck it, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know, I'm gonna focus on who's focused on me and, you know, become magnetic and whatnot. And the more magnetic you get, the more you pull towards you, the more you'll attract individuals, people, groups, people, places, and things that will support whatever it is that you're trying to do and whatnot. And you'll begin to see things drastically change. Become magnetic. That's the key. When you become magnetic, you attract to you and whatnot. Shit is not showing up in your life because you're probably not being magnetic with it. You're not magnetized. You feel me? You're not attracting it, but it's probably around you somewhere. You know, vibrate higher. Yeah, vibrate higher. That's a must. I'm not the most high vibrating person that you'll come across in your life. You know, there's other people that probably vibrate at a higher frequency and, do more. But I'm vibrating at a pretty high frequency, you know. And when I do stoop to a lower frequency, believe you me, I know the difference. You know what I'm saying? I could easily tell the difference. So if it were up to me, I would say do everything in your powers and your capabilities, right, within your reach to just vibrate higher. You don't lose much in the end, you know, unless you're in the middle of a real crazy war, you know. The best thing that can help you out is tunnel vision in these days and times that we're in, because so many distractions and time is moving at such a fast pace that if you get caught up in the distractions, it could be a whirlwind of your time sucked away, and that shit could be clipping you, you know, from completing things and from touchdowns and from wins, from scoring a win. Yeah, I didn't see Cleopatra. I haven't been able to hit Netflix for a minute. I've been too busy to watch TV or the internet for that matter, you know. But I'm hearing the rumblings that they upset about her depiction. Well, let them stay upset. They're gonna be upset because they've been eating off of a culture that's not theirs. They've been basically they've been vulturing our culture for far too long. So they're gonna make some noise, and we need to make more noise than they make. They need to get embarrassed, right? Somebody should get in Kevin Hart's ear. Kevin Hart, with all of that money and experience and production crews and the reach that he has and the influence, shit, he could just go ahead and pay a production crew to go ahead and do a 30-minute clip proving beyond a reasonable doubt the melanin history in Egypt, or Kemet for that matter, right? Because remember, they came for him. They were trying to wash Kevin up. So now, fast forward, they wanna bump their gums about this Cleopatra thing, and all I gotta say is, got him. You know what I'm talking about? Got him. You know what I mean? Got him right where you get. You know what I mean? You got him right by the balls. So finish him at this point. It's time to finish them. We have we got the numbers. We got the numbers. We got the platforms. You know, we got the reach. We could press the button if we wanted to and shoot that shit off on, through certain influencers, and it'll go viral. And it could be a smackdown. And the Egypt wouldn't have nothing to say, you know what I mean? And it could shift things, you know. That's a major inroads to a major shift if played right. You know what I'm talking about? This little Cleopatra conversation, this is the inroads to a major fucking W if somebody was strategic enough to crush them with the truth in this AI day and age. Oh, we're gonna talk about Kang in a minute. You gonna talk about We're gonna talk about Kang in a minute. We are in a constant war with ourselves. You damn right. You damn right. All right. But when you really think about it, um, That's crazy what they doing to Jonathan Majors, right? And it just goes to show you, you know, they'll build you up and tear you down in 5 minutes. You feel me? The same hand that they build you up with is the same hand that they're gonna tear you down with. Just a matter of time. You feel me? Just a matter of time. Because there wasn't no way if Jonathan Majors was out there gorilla pimping and doing whatever he was doing to those women, there wasn't no way that nobody in Hollywood didn't know about that shit up until now. Okay? Whatever information that they putting out is information more than likely they had on him. Then with all of this shit going on, now the picture with him looking zesty with Michael. I remember I said something about that and niggas was trying to come at my neck. You feel me? I'm like, hold on. That don't look right. We even talked about it on this show. I remember we had that conversation. I shared the screen and I was like, yo, look at the way that they're posing, right? I'm like, you know, I've taken pictures before. You know, I've modeled before. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been in front of photographers and whatnot. So I know that some poses are natural, right? And I know that some poses are the photographer saying, yo, do this, right? And do this. So when I saw these pictures, I'm like, nah, that's not natural, bro. Like, that's not something that they didn't want to do that. You feel me? I'm like, they didn't want to do that, B. Somebody made them do that. That's the photographer saying, yo, put your arm around him and look at me. You feel me? That's not them saying, yo, we had so much fun. We so cool and whatnot. And we so lit that we just gonna go ahead and do this. Like, no, don't get it effed up. Don't get it messed up. That's not what that is. That's the photographer saying, yo, pose like that. And them men is looking uncomfortable. You feel me? They wasn't looking comfortable. They wasn't looking flamboyant. So then somebody was like, oh, Red, you hating. That's Black Boy Joy. I said, look, I know what Black Boy Joy is supposed to be. You know what I mean? I get it. Black Boy is supposed to have joy. And I'm not being phobic or anything, you know, but I'm looking at what I'm seeing. I'm looking at this man's face. His body language is off, right? He look assaulted. I'm talking about Michael B. Jordan in this picture right here. That don't look in that I spoke up about it because that shit look uncomfortable, fam. My eyes still work. I don't know about yours. Like my eyes still work. To look at that shit, I was like, am I supposed to celebrate this? Like, am I supposed to look at that where homie naturally his body language is saying something in a sense where he's like distressed? I'm supposed to be like, oh, that's fire. They killing it right there, bro. Oh man, them black boys got joy. So you out promoting a boxing movie, right? This ain't these niggas at the award show. You promoting a boxing movie though called Creed 3. They never had Sylvester Stallone on Dolph Lundgren like this. You couldn't put Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren while they was promoting Rocky 3. Some of y'all wasn't alive when Rocky 3 was out. Nigga, that was a movie, bro. Rocky 3 with Living in America, nigga, and Draco, and they killed Apollo Creed on the bro. Are you serious? That movie was an experience. That was a movie, bro. Imagine if they had Apollo Creed and Bubba Lang, Hulk Hogan hugged up like that. This is stuff for law, bro. This is stuff for law. When I saw this picture, I said, hell to the no, there's an agenda. Something's finna happen. It ain't going the way that we thought it was going. And what's going on with Jamie Foxx? What the fuck is going on in Hollyweird, bro? Because they just canceled homie. He'll never work in the industry again, according to their rules. If this shit spirals, Jonathan Major. He been dropped from all kind of agencies. Right? And once again, I hope I'm not triggering anybody with the Black Boy Joy stuff because, y'all deserve to be had. Black Boy Joy is a right that every man has. You do what you do. But look, this is the cover, right? That's them. This is what the movie that they pushing, right? This is the movie that they pushing. Yeah, I know that y'all not enemies in real life, but bro, however, you niggas need to sell the movie, bro. That's not selling the movie to me, bro. If that's the new way of selling the movie, nigga, I don't want to see the movie. You don't talk about like you're fucking up you fucking up the promo with that. Let's be clear. I shouldn't even have to debate anybody about it. You fucked up the promo run with that one. Niggas that drink Budweiser is not going to watch that movie now. That's the same reason why they're canceling that's real zesty. That's the same reason why they're canceling the beer, Budweiser, because they got somebody from the LBGT community to be the face of Budweiser, right? And the president of Budweiser, who's a lady, said that she wanted to make Budweiser more inclusive, right? To a broader audience. So she spread it and she said she made this the mascot or the brand ambassador of Budweiser, right? And Budweiser is the beer of you know who, okay? Before they get in that pickup truck, nigga. There's a Budweiser at every fucking lynching. There's a Budweiser at every crime scene involving somebody with mayonnaise on their breath. There's Budweisers, right? At every lynching, okay? There was a Budweiser at every Klan meeting, nigga. Budweiser have been there since day one, nigga. This is their beverage. And they went ahead and they made the mascot of Budweiser, right? Your man's in them. Let me show you what they're doing, right? This shit. Right? So when you politicize, it's not even political. It's not even political in a sense. Like, but they making it political, but it's not even political. But when you go ahead and when you turn sexual orientation, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Is that not what we're talking about? You know, when you create, when you take the branding of that flag that represents that and you put it on your product, and then you make the brand ambassador of your product this person here, you understand? You're going to lose a lot of your people, right? You're going to lose a lot of your people. Okay? I heard they lost billions already. You know, people ain't going for that. There's like 1,000 TikToks where they're like rolling over Bud Lights and everything. You know what I'm saying? So your man Kid Rock, you know, he's down with the, you know. So this goes into, you know, what this is. What this is another peg or whatever into the culture war, right, in America. And that culture war is eventually going to lead into a civil war. And the culture war that they're brewing on a continuous basis is the left against the right. And the defining left is LBGTQ, and the right is the rednecks. The right is the original Budweiser drinkers. It's the Republicans. It's the Trumpers. You know, there's clearly a defining line that's being drawn even in that narrative. If you haven't been paying attention, I may be telling you something that you already know. However, I'm seeing the seeds being planted on an accelerated pace for some type of inner conflict between the two defined groups, and that would be the left and the right. The rest of the world, as a response of America's failed effort and attempt to go around the world and push the rainbow agenda, the rest of the world, especially the ones who decided to become partners with the BRICS, and most of the other nations that got together and basically dumped a dollar, conspicuously or coincidentally, a lot of those countries are not completely against the LBGT agenda, and they've stated it, and they stood up against it, and they said not in our countries. And these people have turned their backs on America as well, and they say no longer could we do business, support, or be in alignment with the country with no morality. And you know, and they've hit such a low that they're going around the world pushing that agenda. That's what they're saying around the world in many different parts, um, according to research that I've been doing. You know, so this has a global, it has a regional, it has a local, and a national effect, right? It's going to play a part in the next election. And, you know, and I think more upcoming incidents leading up to the election will define that rift that I'm speaking of. But just keep your eyes open and see what's taking place, because the writing is on the wall. You know, the writing is on the wall. It's becoming politicized. They're becoming a buffer race, a protected class that's being deputized, you know, heavily deputized. Um, it's just, yeah. And then it's even part of a propaganda slash psyop slash, you know, game that they play when they play on one side against the other when they all the same side. You know, they all zesty. You know what I'm talking about? The Republicans are zesty too. You know what I'm saying? They super zesty, but they just acting, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But once again, there's bigger fish to fry. You know, there's bigger fish to fry. But yeah, man, we'll continue to pay attention to what we're seeing. You know, we'll continue to take notes. We'll continue to burn down Babylon. However, we'll continue to fire down upon Rome. You know what I mean? And we'll continue to, you know, burn down the Chichi. You know, in the words of Capleton, Sizzler, you know, Luciano, and all of the dance hall greats. You know, we don't change. You know what I'm saying? We don't change. The message remains the same. You know, Babylon must do what it does, and it's doing that. You know what I mean? It's doing that. It's giving us the motherfucking Harlem Shake. Yeah, Bunham. It's giving us the Harlem Shake. Uh, I do see, you know, the Legion of Doom forming. Like I'm paying attention. I'm seeing the opposition to, you know, a certain. I would say, see, I'm catching myself because once again, I don't want to confuse anybody because they're all the same. Like, yeah, it's the theater of war, right? It's the theater. People sign up to be protagonists and antagonists. It's all a game. So it doesn't even really pay to waste time trying to even identify both sides. Everybody's playing, it's triple agents. People are playing both sides. It's all a fucking game, you know? So it's always best to approach it from an angle where you're not in the game. You're not the one in the middle of that shit, you know? Because I always suspect that they play the game, so your ass going, you know, stay right in the middle, and you always getting caught in the middle, right? While they playing the game, you getting caught up in their games, and that's how they wipe us out. Monkey in the middle. They've done it. It's a military tactic. They've done it on many occasions. They drew us in. You know, they drew us in. You gotta have niggas walking around. Yo, we got beef with Russia. Really? We got beef with Russia. So, but yeah, man. We're gonna wrap this show up pretty soon. Like I said, I'm gonna end it with some fire. You know, this is something that I did in New York with my good brother Cam Bot in the studio. It's produced my good brother Rain 910. All right, who's a legend. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rain. And this is a little, you know, this is a warm up from a new project that I'm working on called Buy Red Gold, right? It's called Buy Red Gold. And shout out to the chat because it was in the chat room that I helped to get the title of my next project. They voted in the chat room and they came up with the title. So before I do leave though, like I said, for all of my Patreons, tomorrow at 4:44, brother in Cairo is gonna be in the building with class number 3. Okay. He will be in the building with class number 3 on Patreon/Zoom at 4:44 p.m. Eastern. you'll get the email with the links tonight or first thing in the morning. Okay. What else? The brother, I'll be with Source Guard on the 22nd. All right. That'll also be available to the Patreons and whatnot. You'll get the link for that. That'll be on Saturday. The Cosmic Egg and whatnot. Yeah, tap in for that. That's gonna be fire. All right. Yeah, so that's about it. The BRICS Coalition switching up so much. The fall of Rome 2 will be real. We must, yeah, go and get, those Winning Rome series are a must watch from when we started doing them years ago. Those will be available on Netflix, which is going to be like it's going to be a streaming platform. You'll have access to the whole library. So the Winning Rome series are must-see lectures because it's going to show you how a lot of the shit that you're seeing right now was, the building blocks was already being built years ago. You know what I'm saying? It was being built years ago, and we were able to catalog a lot of that shit. You feel me? We was able to, almost by documenting it, we time-stamped it. Time-stamped it. We froze it in time. So there's years and years of information of lectures we have where we did that. And they'll be ready for the streaming platform. That's about to launch very soon, sooner than later. But yeah, man, that's what it is. We'll be back for Melanin Mondays. But before that, like I said, look out. We got Sunday Mineral Ministry with Blue Pillar, aka Pope Pablo. That's on Sundays. And then we're going to have some other videos that we're going to be uploading throughout the strong end. You dig? So yeah, man, here is the new joint called Red Opals off the new album entitled We Buy Red Gold. That's coming soon. We Buy Red Gold. Red Opals.
Up in the Dumbo, smoking a gumbo. Few blocks before green, yet open the jungle. Coconut bundles, it's history in the making. I'm popping like fish to the grease and the bacon. My bitch is Jamaican. United we stand, dividing these bands. They hide in their hands, I'm riding in vans. Slide through your land, hopping the sprinters. Tore the underworld, popping the minter. Landing the turtles, I'm popping that splinter. Watching the snowfall, dropping the winter. Dodging the pitfalls, watching this bitch fall. And I still managed like Rich Paul. The paper was calling, I had to go switch calls. I spoke to my twin, I told my young boys I'd never be broken again. Invoking the gins, spitting the spirits, I'm soaking the gin. Your man's in the woods, we smoking on him. Fuck do you mean? We up and squeeze, tuck it and leave, we leaving a stain. Fuck up for breeze, running the banks, causing a crashing. Feather the feds, Morris the fashion. Horse was smashing, kicking the door. Waving for force, it was blasting. Mother the gassing, loving the passion. Eat on your food, the brother was fasting. The weapon that formed against me was me. Perfected the storm as Bentley receipts. Washing the Benjis, we rinse and repeat. Century of self, I'm centered on me. Red as the pillar, I'm pushing the piece. Higher the level, I'm pushing the keys. They going for 19. The summer is mine, I'm going for 19. Thunder and lightning flooded the bright lane. The hunger was biting, biting.